Hey guys, Dr. Dex here. Today I thought it'd be kind of cool. We're starting a new series called Does It Really Work? So we're gonna go to Harbor Freight Tools and we're gonna buy some stuff and see if it really works. Now we actually went to Harbor Freight already and we filmed about 2 hours worth of content, which we could whittle down into about 5 minutes. And unfortunately, it was all corrupted. We had to skip that part of the video. And now we're just gonna go straight into the tool reviews and see if does it really work. So we've selected a few items that we think are worthy of finding out if they're valuable or not, if they work or not, are they worth your hard-earned money or not? And it's on us for a free view for you. All you gotta do is click that subscribe button and maybe hit the bell icon, but you don't have to do that. Just click subscribe, we really appreciate it. So we've been to Harbor Freight, we already got the tools. For these tool tests, we're gonna start with a chainsaw sharpener and let's find out, does it really work? All right guys, just got back from Harbor Freight and the first thing up for bids and the first thing up for testing, does it really work, is this Chicago Electric chainsaw sharpener. And I've always wanted to get one of these, and I have 100 chains that I have sitting in a box, and I wanna know, is it worth buying this tool to sharpen those chains to see if they actually work any better? So we have an old chainsaw that's retired from the job site. It's got a beater chain on it. We're gonna mount this to the table, and we're gonna see if it actually works for sharpening chains or not. So I thought I'd just do an unboxing right here in front of you guys, okay? So have not opened this tool yet. Gotta be smarter than the box. All right, so there's some nice directions right here, okay? Great. I can always refer back to that if I need to. So in the box, there's a broken zip tie and this thing, and it looks like a power cable, and then this mechanism that probably mounts to this area right here. Looks like we just take this off and then we stick this. There's a little guide, it looks like and there are some degree markers on this. Great. So it kind of looks like to mount this to the bench, we're gonna have to push this beyond the bench because you gotta be able to get to this knob to be able to adjust this angle. Let's get it over to the bench. Let's get it mounted and let's see how well this thing works. It kind of mounts to the bench right to here. Like there's a spot that stops. So you gotta push it this far in at least. I think I wanna try to mount into these 2x4s though. So it looks like if I leave it like that, it may or may not hit that 2x4. So either I can angle these back this way. I had a couple bolts, but I don't think those are gonna work. I also have a couple of like 4-inch lags. Maybe I can get away with those, but I know I'm right on the edge. So let's just see if we can shoot these two fasteners. Is there one on the back? Nope, it's just these two fasteners. So let's see if we can pre-drill these at a forward angle and catch the inside edge of this 2x4. If not, I could probably either route the top of this out a little bit or do some other kind of wizardry, but you know what? I think for now, we're just gonna go ahead and see if we can get it mounted. I just want to make sure I'm not in an existing fastener. Okay, let me grab a pre-drill bit, I'll be right back. They don't give you a lot of mounting options for... Okay, that bit. Let me get that fastener in. Don't want to break it. I think I know why this drill is not here at the job site anymore. All right, so that's pretty well fastened down to the table. So great, we'll get some of these drills cleared off the way and these tools, and we'll get a chain on here and see if we can get this thing sharpened. First thing we're gonna do though, is we're actually gonna grab the chainsaw and cut something with it to show you how dull the blade is before we take it off the chainsaw and try to sharpen it. And then we'll compare it to that same exact blade after sharpening and see how well it does. Okay guys, so I have a 16-inch DeWalt, a 40 volt, 7.5 amp hour battery, old chain. This one got retired. I don't know how sharp this chain is. I really haven't tested it, but let's see how well it cuts through this 6x6, and then we'll test it again after we sharpen the chain, okay? All right, so we'll put a little timer on it or something to see how much difference there is between the two cuts. All right, here we go. right, guys, so it won't even cut through the 6x6. It stinks. I don't know if you can smell it, but it's not doing too good. So I'm thinking this chain is pretty dull. So let's rip this chain off of this saw and let's sharpen it and see if we can at least cut through the 6x6 and how well it does or how fast it will go, okay? All right, guys, so this sharpener has a couple adjustments. There's a depth gauge up here, and there's a couple of spots that turn the chain, and then there's an adjustment for this stopper. So the stopper, you lock it down on the back side of the chain, and you have to do this both directions, it looks like. So I'm gonna set the chain up on here, okay? And then we gotta choose which direction we want to sharpen first, because the chain alternates angles right and left every link, okay? So let's see. Let's turn the chain, wow, this is dull, this way, and I'm not sure of the degree yet. So I'm just gonna go ahead and guesstimate the degree, and then I'm gonna lower this sharpener down, and if I pull this back, it kind of locks it. I mean, it's not the greatest locking mechanism on the earth. Okay, and definitely our depth gauge is too high, so I'll pull that out of the way. Because there's so many different chain configurations, you're gonna have to take a minute to set up your chain. And then the angle, I think this is closer to a 20-some degree angle. I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in and turn it on and see how our first cut goes, and then get the depth set on my cutter. Always wear your safety glasses, right? Okay, so there's an on-off switch up here. Once you lock this in to where you want it, there's a handbrake on the top, and what it does is it squeezes the chain so it can't move back or forth, so that when you come down to make your cut, you're right on point. Okay, so I think I've got it set up pretty good. Let's see if we can get this first part of this blade to sharpen. All right, so I'm gonna try to dial in our first cut. I think I'm close, but I might not be 100, but it feels pretty good. That looks like a pretty good cut. It looks clean, it looks sharp, and it looks like it's close to the right angle. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue to do all the, I'm just gonna call this the left side of the blade, and then I'll come back and do all the right side of the blade next. I'm gonna put a piece of tape or paint or something to identify my first chain sharpening, the first link that I've sharpened. Then I'll go around, and there's probably 40 or 50 links on this, so I'll do 20, and then I'll flip the angle back to the next side and do the other 20, and then that chain should be sharp. So let's do that, and we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're halfway there. I found my Sharpie mark, okay? So that means I already sharpened that tooth on the chainsaw blade. So now I'm going to flip the angle. So I'm about a 22.5 degree angle. So I'm gonna turn this way to about the same, 22.5-ish, somewhere in there. I'm gonna lock this back down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and paint another Sharpie mark just so I have a little bit better idea of where to stop, okay? And then I'm gonna run this guy right here, and then I'm gonna sharpen this side, and it looks like it's about the same. So we're gonna go ahead and do a test run. If it's not quite right, I'll move this in a little bit or out, adjusting it so I can make sure I get a nice cut on each tooth. And then we'll run it through again, and then we'll put this thing back on the saw and see how it does. All right, okay guys, I've got the entire chain sharpened now. I'm back to my black mark on my Sharpie for the teeth. So this entire chain has been sharpened to the best of my abilities with this Chicago Electric chainsaw sharpener. One thing I noticed is I did have to do some tweaking, make some adjustments as I was sharpening it. I think as this grinder wheel started to break in, I might have had to go down in the depth just a little bit, but it seemed to work pretty good after that. So I'm just gonna go flip this up. I'm gonna grab my chain, and let's take it over back to the saw, and let's get this mounted and see how it cuts. To my knowledge, you want the chain to be fairly taut, but you don't want it so tight that you can't pull it, so that you can see the links on the bottom of the chain. Now, I've had people tell me if you can fit a penny in there, that's about the right tension. I might be a little snug, but we'll go ahead and try that. You'll kind of know when you start using it if it's the right tension or not. We're gonna take it off our safety, I got 3 bars. Let's see how she cuts now, huh? All right, guys. Here's our first line. I'm gonna just cut a completely separate line. Here we go. Well, I think that cut pretty good. It's not super straight, but it cut through it. I wasn't trying for accuracy. I was just trying to see if I could cut through the board because it wouldn't cut through the board before we sharpen the chain. So in my opinion, I would have to say that this is a win. This actually does work from Harbor Freight. I actually found this on sale and saved like $20 on that tool, and I'm gonna keep it mounted to the bench. I wasn't joking. I'll be right back. I wanna show you guys something. These are all the chains that I have used over the last 20 years of my career since I started using chainsaws in my business. And they're all dull. And they used to be about $12 a piece. Now I'm lucky if I can get one for $20 a piece. I probably have 100 chains in here. That's $2,000 worth of chains. I spent $40 or less on that sharpener, and I can take all these chains and sharpen them up. In my spare time, I will do that, but we're cutting videos today, so I hope you like this one. If you did, if you got something out of this video, please hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thanks for watching our new series on Does This Really Work? Harbor Freight Tools. If you like it or you want to see more, leave us a comment below and tell us. I really want to hear from you though, so leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts, guys. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day.